afternoon, everyone. Or good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. We're here again. So today we're going to be talking about the disappearance, the really sad disappearance. And I really don't have a good feeling about this one, guys. 20 months old, just 20 months old, Quinton Simon. The cutest little boy you've ever seen in your life. And he's gone missing. Or has he? So we're going to go through the timeline. We're going to go through some clips and we're going to explore the neighborhood with the map. And just what we know so far. And it isn't much, but people are speaking out, particularly babysitter. So we're going to get into all of that. I'll just say a few hellos first of all, while people are coming in. Casey says, happy Sunday from Missouri. Well, happy Sunday from Lancashire, England. I do as well. Absolutely. I've got a bad feeling about this one. I really do. Hi, Cecile. Rambling Rome. Diana. Caleb. Scottish Lass. Debbie. Jen. Susie. Gina. Karen. Let's have a look. Who else have we got in? Virgo Monkey. Good evening from Johannesburg. Wow. I think you're ahead of me in time. I think. Alexandra. Sarah. Diane. Hybrid Pisces. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Oh, wow. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians out there. Off veteran. Angelia. Sorry, I'm rubbish at pronouncing things. Kristen, Mystic Messenger, Susie. Oh, don't. It's horrible. Horrible. But hello to everybody. We've got a few people coming in. Yeah, I've got bad feelings about this one. 3:46 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. I bet the weather's a bit nicer over there in Melbourne than it is here. We're heading into autumn or fall, that Americans call it. You can feel it as well, particularly at night. Gets a bit chilly at night now. Yeah, I'm going to go through as much as we know by playing some news clips and just talking through what we know. (12:47 a.m.) It's 17:49 here, so 10 to 6. Oh, thank you. First time you caught alive. Oh, well, I've been live a lot lately. There are a few channels. Covering this now. I did a video, I don't know, 2-3 days ago, and on this channel, and it's not been terribly well viewed. And I think once a few channels start covering it, then people start taking notice. If only 1 or 2 channels are covering a case, it doesn't really take off. But I'm seeing more information coming out, more channels wanting to talk about it. So I think little Quinton will capture people's hearts. When people become aware of this case, I really do think he will capture people's hearts. You know, at first glance because he's so cute, but also because the story is insane. Just the things that we've heard so far. It's crazy. It really is. So I'm going to start at the beginning for anybody who isn't familiar with this case. and hasn't seen it covered anywhere and missed my video from a couple of days ago. So I'm going to start with just a brief clip, just a couple of minutes from the news, who went through a very succinct timeline. The news channel that's covering this the most is WSAV3. WSA3V, so WSAV, I keep thinking of it as. So that's where the news clips are coming from. All the links to all the clips that I'm going to be playing are in the description box of this video already. So I'm using these clips under fair use for commentary and education, etc., etc., etc. You know, the things that we're meant to say when we use other people's content. But anyway, right, that's where we're going to start. Just with this brief timeline. Okay.
But to tell you about the environment he was living in, we have to back up weeks. September 7th, police were called to Quinton's grandparents' home, where Quinton, his mother, her boyfriend, 2 other children, and the grandparents live. There was a fight, this police report says, between Quinton's mom, Quinton Simon, and her mother, Billy Jo Howell. Quinton called the cops on her mom. When officers showed up, she told them she was on probation and didn't want trouble. We don't know what that probation is for. The report says when police officers talked with Quinton's brother, he told them that Quinton's mom had a history of stealing and used the money to buy drugs. A day later, September 8th, Billy Jo Howell wanted her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend out. She filed for eviction. According to the document, she didn't want any money. She just wanted her 22-year-old daughter, Quinton, her boyfriend, Daniel Youngkin, and the 3 kids to leave quickly. Here's where the grandmother wrote it. They damaged her property, and no one is living in peace. September 16th, Quinton and Daniel found out about the eviction, but we now know as recently as last Wednesday, the 2 were still living here. That gets us to Wednesday, the morning little Quinton was last seen. At 5:29 a.m., babysitter Diana McCarta got a text message. She told us it was from Quinton's mom, saying Diana didn't have to watch the kids today. Police told us the boyfriend, who we now know is Daniel Youngkin. Police say that's the last time Quinton was seen. 9 a.m., another text message to babysitter Diana, this time from a grandparent, asking if Diana had seen the toddler. The 911 call, 42 minutes later, at 9:42 a.m. The WSAV investigative unit has asked Chatham County Police for that call. So far, they haven't answered our request. We know from the family, Quinton told police that Quinton's father took the child. The family said that story didn't make sense. And by 2:30 that afternoon, police said the father wasn't involved. By Wednesday night, the effort to find Quinton involved the FBI, 2 helicopters, a drone, police on horses, tracking dogs, and officers going door to door. Thursday, we watched federal agents search dumpsters, ditches, drain pipes, and the woods. Brett Buffington, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Okay, so that's just a mega quick whiz through the timeline. So let's just add a little meat to those bones before we go any further. So in September, Billy Jo, whose house it is, Billy Jo Howell, is Quinton's grandmother, maternal grandmother, so his mother's mother. Quinton's mother is called Quinton. She's 22 years old and she's got 3 children. She's got an older child who's 3. And then she's got Quinton. He's the middle child. He's 20 months old. And then she's got a new baby with her now boyfriend, Daniel Youngkin. Quinton has a different father. Police very quickly ruled out any involvement of the biological father, even though, as you saw in the clip, Lelani has allegedly told the police that Quinton is with his biological father. He absolutely isn't. I've got shades of Megan Boswell here, guys. Right? I'm going to be very, very upfront about this. Normally, I am very reserved and very cautious about putting the blame on anybody this early in a case. But in this instance, I've got a very bad feeling about Lelani, her involvement in this, and also the boyfriend, Daniel. I've got a really bad feeling because Lelani lied from day one. We haven't heard Lelani speak. She's not come out and given any interviews as of yet. But everything that we're hearing so far does not look good for this little boy. So in September, Billy Joe wanted Lelani and Daniel to leave because there was just too many arguments. There was fighting. Lelani ended up calling the police, and Billy Joe issued an eviction notice on Lelani and Daniel. However, the news is reporting that she also wanted the kids out. Now, the thing that's confusing me is that Billy Joe has formal custody of these children, at least the two boys, the older boy and Quinton. I don't know about the new baby, who's a little girl. So how can she evict the children if she's got legal custody of them? So I don't really understand that at all. Don't understand it. No. From the babysitter, Diana, saw him the day before. She babysat him the day before. And when we play a clip from her, she talks about it. She talks through her timeline. So we're gonna show that as we go through this show. So we know he was alive and well the day before. Okay. All right. So this Wednesday just gone, 5th of October, things got really weird. At 5:29, Diana, the babysitter, who looks after the children every day, allegedly, I think, paid for by Billy Joe because she's got legal custody, even though Lelani is living in the same house. I don't know whether the courts know that they're living in the same house. I don't know. It's a weird situation because usually if a parent has their kids taken off them because they're not a fit parent, and allegedly this is down to drugs, they're only allowed supervised contact. So I don't really understand the situation fully as of yet. So, okay, 5:29 a.m. The babysitter, Diana, gets a message. She said this came from Daniel, so Lelani's boyfriend, the father of her new baby. That's what she said, that it came from Daniel's phone, saying that she wasn't needed that day, that they weren't going to be in and she wasn't needed that day. And normally the kids are dropped off early, like before 6. Like if they're as late as 6 a.m., they're running late because Daniel works. So Daniel works. Lelani doesn't. I think she does have a job, perhaps. I think she does have a job, but she hasn't been working. Right? She's got a new baby anyway. So, and she just stays in bed all day. According to the babysitter, she sleeps all day and stays up all night. You know, I would if I had a choice. That's the way I would be. I'm a proper night owl. I'm dead in the day, but at night I come alive. So she was told 5:29 that her services weren't needed. So Daniel wasn't going to drop them off. He drops them off on his way to work. So she didn't think anything of it. And then at 9 a.m. or thereabouts, she gets a text message from Billy Joe, the grandma, saying, "Have you seen Quinton?" So she says no. like I was told that I wasn't needed. So no, I've not seen Quinton. Now she lives on the same road. She can see their house from her house. So I'm wondering whether Grandma, Billy Joe, thought if Quinton's got out of the house, maybe he's gone. You know, maybe he's had the foresight to go to the babysitter's house. He wanted to go and play with the babysitter. So I can understand why Grandma would call or text her first to ask her, because if Quinton has got out of the house, then perhaps he might go there, right? It's logical, isn't it? However, then Lelani rings 911 at 9:40 or thereabouts. They said in the news, they said 9:42. I've seen 9:39, around 9:40, right? That's when the 911 call came in. However, by that time, Quinton had been missing for over 3 hours. Because even though Lelani told the police that Quinton was with his biological father, Daniel tells a different story. Daniel has told everybody that he last saw Quinton in his playpen at 6 a.m. when he went out. So they weren't going out. So it's not computing. Something's not adding up for me. And then the story has then since been Quinton got out of the house. Now, Quinton was in his playpen, allegedly, according to Daniel. So, okay, Quinton might have been able to climb out of his playpen. I mean, my daughter, when she was a little kid, she could jump out of a cot. She could jump in and out of a cot with high sides. Like she like pole vaulting. She like could just jump out. So it's conceivable that a child can climb out of an enclosed space that's meant to keep him safe. But then how's he got out of the house? Because surely the door was shut. Because this is 6 a.m. when Daniel went out. Surely he's not left the front door wide open. So how has Quinton managed to get out of his playpen, then get out of the door, and then close the door behind him? Not adding up. No. Not adding up this. For me, not adding up whatsoever. So cases like Michael Vaughan, who at 5 years old got out of the house, I get that. I understand that. There's no way in the world I could blame the parents for Michael's disappearance. I know some people do, but I see Michael as an abducted child. The most logical explanation for Michael Vaughan's disappearance at age 5 is he got out of the house, and that Tyler, his dad's story, is accurate, that Michael got out of the house. But in this case, we're in a very different situation. Quinton is only 20 months old. But neighbours, including the babysitter and her family, have seen Quinton and his brother, who's only 3, so a 3-year-old and a 20-month-old, playing out on the street. So they are allowed to go out on the street on their own and play. So before we go any further, let's just have a quick look at the neighbourhood, right? So I've got Google Maps up, and we're going to go through the neighbourhood. Just to answer a couple of questions before I do. I know it's going really dark in here. I'm going to turn my camera off because it's too dark for you to see anything anywhere. So did Daniel go to work, and so why wasn't the babysitter needed? Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. We don't know. Now, allegedly, the babysitter saw Daniel in his car at some point in the morning, quite early in the morning, like driving around slowly. So was he looking for Quinton? Or was he just giving the impression that he was looking for Quinton? So I can't answer that. I don't know whether he actually went to work or not. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, Mississippi Girl, for the $10. Very kind of you. And the dancing avocado. Stop it. She's chewing my chair again. I got some shopping delivered this morning, and I was very upset that my avocados that I ordered were out of stock. That's very unfair. Very unfair. Someone left the door open. I don't know they did, though. So we don't know, but we'll see the door in a second. Do they have a dog flap? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, whether they have a dog flap or not. I would imagine that he would know the route. I imagine he would, because if he's taken there every day, even if it's in a car, I think he would know the route. So it's a logical thing for Grandma to think, for Billy Joe to think that Quinton might have got out of the house and gone to the babysitters, because that's his normal routine. Yeah, that's my understanding, Irene. He was seen by the babysitter driving slowly around the neighbourhood. He passed the babysitter's house because she's very close. Yes, she does. She has them every day. And allegedly paid for by Billy Joe. So Grandma works. So when Grandma's not working, then they're with the babysitter, Diana. So and this particular day, Billy Joe was working out of state. So she would have been under the impression that she was leaving the children with Eleni and Daniel at night. Now, I don't know whether she'd been away all night. I assume she had been away all night. And then they would go to the babysitter in the morning. And the babysitter had even started looking after the new baby as well. So originally she was employed to look after the elder boy, Quinton, and that was it. And then when this new baby come along, she's recently been looking after that baby as well. And she tells the story that they'll turn up, no diapers, no milk. So she's having to buy the things that they should bring with them. You know, if you take your kid to a babysitter, you don't expect, you know, to have to fund that child yourself, do you? You don't expect, if the child is still in diapers, to have to buy the diapers yourself, or to buy baby milk. You know, you don't. But that's what they were expecting of her, according to her. According to her. Yeah, 4 months old. I think she was born in July, if I remember rightly. I think Grandad was also at work as well. I think. Or he wasn't there. He was out of the house. Thank you, the Big W, for the $4.99. Keep it up. Another avocado. Making me hungry. There was another good question. Who put him in the playpen? Now, that is the $6 million question. That is exactly what I want to know. Had he been in that pen all night? Or did Daniel put him in there? Did Daniel put him in there? You know, he was awake and Daniel was going out, so he put Quinton in the pen. I don't know. I'm guessing. Thank you, Daughter of Scotland, for the £20. The neighbour doesn't have many positive things to say about the situation. Big red flags right there. There is a lot of red flags. So let's have a quick look at this neighbourhood then, shall we? All right. So they live at this house here. So this is Billy Joe and her husband's house. And Lelani and Daniel, with the kids, have been living there. So it's a nice house. So you see a door there. Presumably there'll be a door around the back as well, but you can't get around the back. And then this is Buckhalter Road. So it's a quiet street. There's houses though. And then another street. So it looks like a quiet neighbourhood, nice neighbourhood. Obviously, that's just impressions from Google. But there are houses on either side. So you would think that if Quinton had got out at 20 months old, surely he's not going to get far, is he? He's not going to walk for miles, is he? At 20 months old on his own. You might think, let's just imagine the scenario. And I do not believe this. I do not believe, I cannot believe at this moment in time that Quinton got out of the house. I can't believe that's how he disappeared. That's just where I'm at the moment. So let's just imagine he got out of the house. Where would he go at 20 months old? So he'd think it was a big adventure. Right, big adventure. So this is sometime between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. when the babysitter was alerted that Quinton might be missing. Diana Curry, the grandfather, I believe, was also out of the house. I believe he was at work as well. But I don't know exactly where he was. But as far as I understand it, Billy Jo and her husband, whose name escapes me, is it Tom? They're not considered involved. And the biological father is also not involved. So I think they've just accounted for these people's whereabouts. I think the only people the police are looking at is Lelanie and Daniel. Tommy, thank you. Darkness Exposed. I know you've been doing a lot of work on this. I've been watching your videos. I think when I started really looking at this, I think you were the only channel that was actually covering it. Maybe there's one or two others, but you've been on it from day one. I mean, we're only on what? We're into the 5th day now. So it's not very, it's only 4 days, isn't it? So October the 5th, he went missing. What's up? Cassie's here, trying to get my attention. All right, so that's the neighbourhood. Now, if we zoom out and imagine that Quinton wandered around and got lost, let's say, there's plenty of kind of places that he could hide, like people's sheds, garages and things like that. But you'd think after 4 days, you know, and the whole neighbourhood knows he's missing, that if he got stuck in someone's shed or garage or, you know, just crawled somewhere on someone's property, then he would have been found, because, you know, this is a suburban neighbourhood. This is not really rural, really rugged. This is a suburban neighbourhood, and a 20-month-old child surely cannot walk very far before he gets disoriented and he gets lost. But he'll wander around and around and around, and his little legs will get tired. He's probably not even been walking for more than a few months. You know, so let's zoom out and think, okay, are there any hazards? Well, there's a pool. The back of Billy Jo's house there's a pool. So that's dangerous. Now, presumably, because there's 3 kids living there, presumably that has a cover. I would hope that has a cover. There are a few ponds, but you have to go quite a ways out to get to these ponds. And the ponds, I know at least one pond has been searched. There's a big pond up here somewhere. Here it is. There. That looks like a hazard, whatever that is. There's another one there, I think. And there's a big pond there. But you're looking a ways out there. I mean, he'd have to go all the way through these woods on his own. Thank you, Amanda. Grandma's been working away for nearly 2 weeks. Surely she shouldn't have left the kids with mum who lost custody. I would agree with that. I would, but we don't know. the nature of the agreement that the family had with the court. So absolutely, if the court didn't know that Lelani was even living there, that's an issue. Or if the court said, okay, we know she's living there, but she has to be supervised, then yeah, that's a big problem. But we don't know. We don't know the nature. Obviously, because it's a family court, we're not privy to that information unless someone voluntarily releases it. And the babysitter, you know, would have them every single day, and she'd even have them overnight sometimes. So it's one of them. Maybe Billy Joe thought that they were with the babysitter the whole time. I don't know. So there's another big pond there. There's a small pond there. So that's in walking distance, but he'd have to cross the highway. Or he can go over the road, but I can't see a 20-month-old getting even that far without becoming scared, going through the woods. Or he'd have to go down the road and through people's yards. Now, there's a railway track here. Now, if that's open, that's dangerous. But this neighbourhood, this entire neighbourhood has been thoroughly searched. In the first couple of days, it was intensive. It was an intensive search. So if he got out of the house and got lost, I think at 20 months old, he would have been found. There's always that chance that he's wandered farther than they thought and all that stuff. But for me, I'll do a Chris McDonough and say, I've not left the house. That's where I'm at the moment. I've not left the house. So that's the neighbourhood. It's not a good sign. It absolutely isn't a good sign. Well, I suppose so. A 20-month-old child, in terms of abduction, though, abduction for sexual reasons, 20-month-old is generally too young for most pedos. Generally, but not all. Not all. I can't see it. I've not left the house. That's all I'm saying at the moment. Okay, so let's move on to the next clip. Let me just get this next clip up. Shall I play that one? I'll play the grandparents' comments first.
We both
okay. So this is the grandparents. So this was the day after, or October the 6th. So the day after he went missing. So this is Billy Joe, and this is Grandad Tommy. I think he's step-granddad. I'm not sure that he's Lelani's biological father, but I'm not sure. Okay, so let's listen to what they say. It's just a short interview. And I get, oh, this is a different news clip. This is WJCL News.
We both left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
It's been crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear. We just want to know something. My concern is him. And that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but
and
I wanted to keep working hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional? Because he's not here. He's just a baby. And I want him home. He's just a baby. Leilani's my daughter. She's 22. She hasn't always done the right things. And sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe, because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her if I don't. I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby home.
We want answers, and we don't have answers.
Just thank you to everybody that's helped.
Thank you for everybody that's looked for him,
and please don't stop looking.
Yeah, like I said, we want answers. We want to find him. That's the answer we want, is somebody found him. You know, we're still hoping and praying, and we wish everybody to pray for him. Pray for us.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the grandparents who live in the home, who own that home. And I know there's a lot of kind of negativity towards Billy Joe, but I'm going to reserve judgment because I don't know what the situation was with the courts. If the courts told them that Lelani should have absolutely no contact or only supervised contact, then yes, I have a problem with that. But until I find out, if I ever find out what the situation was, then I'm not gonna pass judgment. I truly believe that Billy Joe and Tommy have got nothing to do with this. That's just where I'm at. You know, Lelani is an adult. Daniel was there. You see, we don't know whether Lelani could be supervised by Daniel. We don't know. We don't know the situation. So I'm always cautious about attributing blame, responsibility of any kind in these kinds of situations in the early days. I prefer to sit back, observe, and not pass a judgment. This is highly unusual for me, that I'm saying right almost from day one, I thought I'm not leaving this house. Lelani and Daniel are going to have to give me some very good reasons why I should leave that house. Yes, they got K9 units in. I've not got the dispatch call up on my list of things to show you, but there is a dispatch call. I don't know which channel got this, but someone got it from the scanner. I wonder whether I could find it. Hold on. Please hold. I know True Crime with Eve, I think, had it on her channel. Chasing Truth played it yesterday. Let's see. Dispatch call. Bristol's Crime Time. 5th of October dispatch call. Who else has got it? Crazy Crime Chicks got it. So there's a few channels out here with the dispatch call. True Crime with Eve has got it. Chasing Truth's got it. So the dispatch call, all I've typed in on YouTube is Quinton Simon dispatch call. So choose any one of those channels who've got it and listen to it. But it was quite a long commentary and really quite clear. And it was requesting K9 units, right? Requesting K9 units immediately. They got the K9s out straight away. And presumably there was no trace. Presumably they didn't get any tracks or anything. So that's a big red flag. Because if Quinton had been wandering around the neighbourhood, given that he couldn't go far, even though if he got out at 6 a.m., let's say, and he'd been out there for 3.5 hours, probably 4 hours by the time the dogs got there, he's not got that far. Now, he could have crawled somewhere into a crawl space somewhere, but there would have been a track, and it would have been a very fresh track. Very fresh track. And if we just look at the neighbourhood again, that's good environment for a dog. mean, I don't know how far they went out, but yeah, obviously they start at the house. Why is my little man not working? Why is my little man not wanting to go down onto the street? They start at the house and work out. Now, if they can't get a track from the house, then a dog, a live scent tracking dog, isn't much use, because they'll want to find a track, and then the dog will follow that track. So that's a good environment for a dog. It's flat, it's grassy, which is good, because scent dissipates off an artificial surface a lot quicker. Thank you, Janice, for the 19.99. Feels like this is another sad story. Different names, drugs, unfit parents, missing child, fear the worst. Yeah, I do on this one. I really do. Artificial services, the scent dissipates. But if he'd been out there 4 hours, even if he'd run off the grass dead quick, not leaving any scent, and then gone onto the road, 4 hours, that scent's going to be there. That scent's going to be there. I'm sorry, they are. And if he's playing around in the woods, playing around on the grass, playing in people's yards, it's perfect environment for a scent to linger. I've not left the house. That's what I'm saying. I've not left the house, in my opinion, for a very good reason. So let's hope they don't screw up. Yes, I know that he has wandered in the past, but at 20 months old, how far can a 20-month-old wander? Yeah, he could have got half a mile away and then got lost. And then he's wandering around, and he'd be wandering around aimlessly. I can't see it. I just can't see it. If there was no other explanation, I would have gone there. I'd have said, look, however unlikely it is possible for him to have wandered off. It's on the table. It's on the table. But it's not my number one theory, sadly. Thank you, Suzette, for the 169.99 ZARs. South African rands, I believe. Ring cameras, yeah. I don't know. Obviously, the police will have been in contact with the neighbours, and you know, that's something I've not looked into yet. I've not done that search yet. Someone might have done, but I've not done that search yet. Okay, let's play another clip here. Let's see which one I'll play next. I'm not going to play the babysitter. I've got one more clip. I'm going to play the babysitter in a minute. Let me play this one.
Right now, there is a...
Is it this one?
Last seen at his house.
Hold on. No, I don't want that one. That one's too short. Please hold. Be with you in a sec. This one, maybe. Stop it. Shut up with these ads. What's up, Cassie? You're still jealous? I want the one with the police chief on. Where is it? Shut up. Stop it. Stop it. Ow. She's scratching my arm. She's scratching my arm. Ow. I can't do anything. Oh, there's a good one here that shows the search. Let's just look at this one for a second. Ow, Cassie. You're hurting me. Dear me. Okay.
Mother and her boyfriend have been in question. Well, tonight we're learning that the neighbors witnessed the mother and her boyfriend at their house all throughout the day. Now,
oh, this is a good one. Oh, I'm glad I picked this one. Okay, so Lelani and Daniel were taken in by the police. and they were interrogated. And they were there for hours and hours and hours. And then they turned up back home. And the neighbours witnessed shouting coming from the house. And it's been caught on the reporters' cameras. You can't make out what they're saying. And I think this is the clip. I believe this is the clip. So let's just play this one.
At their house all throughout the day. Now, neighbors claim that the two finished being interrogated by law enforcement very early this morning. And then later that morning, neighbors say grandparents came by. Now, with Quinton missing for nearly 48 hours, tensions were running high in the family. And that's when things started to get heated. Neighbors say they heard several arguments all throughout the day. I was on scene a little after 6 p.m. tonight, where I heard another scuffle break out from across the street. Chatham County Police is asking residents to turn on their Twitter notifications, which is where the latest updates are coming from. Neighbors and family members are hoping for answers as it's closing in on hour 48 of Quinton's disappearance.
So that was October the 7th. So they were interrogated. I don't know how long they were kept, but October the 7th, they were back at home. And a fight had broken out, like shouting and screaming. And this reporter caught it, but they'd been shouting and screaming earlier on as well. It says, "Leave me alone," says police with Denise. "Leave me alone," she says. "Don't know where he is." Okay, you've got better ears than me. Yeah, it's a bit shocking. It's a bit shocking. Now, there is another clip that I could find, but I'm not going to bother with it. Because I want to get into what the babysitter said. I did say this wasn't going to be a really, really long live. I want to keep this quite succinct so that people will kind of watch it. You know, if they get really long, people don't want to watch them. That's right, Savannah, Georgia. Did I not say that at the beginning? Savannah, Georgia. Now, there was a press conference a couple of days ago. I'm not going to play it because it wasn't that useful, to be honest. The police chief didn't really say very much. You know, he said he's hoping he's alive. He was caught after the press conference saying that he hopes it's like Elizabeth Smart. You know, Elizabeth Smart was found after several months, but a completely different situation. Elizabeth Smart was a teenager. This is a 20-month-old baby. So although I applaud the police chief's ability to stay positive, I think he knows in his heart of hearts that if a child that young is missing more than a few hours, then the situation generally isn't that good. Anyway, so the babysitter, Diana. Before I play, I'm going to play two clips. I'm going to play one from Ziggy's channel. Ziggy had a 45-minute interview with the babysitter. The link to that is in the description box. So I've put some of these news clips in the description box, and I've put Ziggy's interview also in the description box of this video. So I'm just going to play you a couple of minutes from Ziggy's. But go and watch that on Ziggy's channel because it's very interesting. Very interesting. Some of the things that she said. I also caught a live by Crimes, Lies and Lines the other day. Now, this would have been not yesterday, maybe the day before. And she was doing a live on this case. And someone hopped in the chat who said that he used to babysit for the older brother. And he came on panel and Brooks had a very good, interesting conversation with him. Now, obviously, neither I nor Brooks can vouch for anything that he said, but, you know, he said that Lelanie was generally just neglectful, would take drugs, and just basically palm the baby off. So this is Quinton's older brother, off on anybody who'd look after him. And he used to look after him a lot because, you know, she just palm him off on anybody. So it seems to be that Lelaine's got this habit of having children and then not wanting to really look after them. And at 22 years old, I'm not passing any judgment here. At 22 years old, I mean, I had 2 kids at 22. By 22, I had 2 kids. I'm not passing any judgment, you know, but she's got 3 kids, a 3-year-old, a 20-month-old, and then a 4-month-old baby. 3 kids in very quick succession. And she's not looking, doesn't appear that she wants to look after any of them, or isn't capable of looking after any of them for whatever reason, whether it's to do with her substance abuse or whatever. But, you know, it's very telling when her own mother says, you know, I don't trust her. That is the biggest red flag I've probably ever heard in a case, you know, this early in a case. It's bad. It's bad. So I'm going to play you a couple of, apparently they do all have different dads. Yeah. Peace with Denise. So we know that the young baby, the 4-month-old girl, that's Daniel's. And then Quinton and the other boy have got different dads. So anyway, you know, perhaps you should get some good contraception, because we don't want any more kids, do we? But I'm not passing any judgment. I'm not, honestly. But let me play you this. A couple of minutes. This is from Ziggy's channel. Please do go over and support Ziggy by playing this through. Listen to it. It's very interesting. Very interesting. So this is the babysitter talking to Ziggy.
I want to ask, because now I'm like, oh gosh, there's gonna be something I want to ask, and I'm gonna forget it.
Right.
So, okay, so you've been watching her every day. Have you noticed any like bruises or anything like that? Because there's a babysitter I was reading, a lady that claims that she used to babysit for Zane, who said that he used to always come, show up with bruises and horrible.
They have bruises. Quinton had bruises. I actually sent his grandma pictures of the bruises. This was a couple days before all this happened.
Wow, really?
Yes, he did have bruises on his neck. It was told to my daughter a few months ago by Leilani that I knew that Zane, the 4-year-old, was her favorite. You could tell.
Okay.
And she told my daughter that she didn't bond with Quinton. She bonded with Zane, that Zane had been through everything with her. Everybody that knew her knew Quinton was her least favorite. Well, I don't know how you have, oh, yeah. I don't know how you have favorite kids.
What was that you said?
I said, I don't know how any mother has favorites with
I know.
kids.
Oh, my gosh. That's my biggest pet.
That's Ziggy's biggest pet peeve, she's going to say. But I'll let you listen to the rest of that in your own time. It is very interesting. There's some interesting things in that. But that, in my opinion, is the most alarming thing she said in that interview. Now, obviously, we can't vouch for the truthfulness of this. This is the babysitter's word. We don't know how true it is. She's got no reason to lie, I wouldn't have thought, to be honest, but you never know. So there is that caveat. There's always that caveat that this is just her experience and what she's choosing to tell us. You know, but she was very open. She took Ziggy's call and had a very frank discussion with Ziggy. So bruises on Quinton's neck 2 days beforehand. So, like I said, you know, the babysitter Diana has been looking after these children every day and has got to know these children very well. And Sherber, the lab, has the latest interview with the babysitter. She talks about the grandmother walking in her house and accusing her of taking Quinton and selling him. She has a lot more to say. I haven't seen that interview yet, but I have heard about it. I've heard about it. Yeah. So yeah, the family are now accusing the babysitter of stealing Quinton, and in my opinion, I don't believe that. In my opinion, I don't think the babysitter's got anything to do with this, but it's very early days. It's very early days. I know I'm going to play some of that. I've got that. I'm going to play some of that in a second. So yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Jen, where are you? I've seen it coming out of here. I'd have to agree with you that this is a situation now where the children should not be there. Until this is all thoroughly investigated and, you know, the authorities know what's going on, those children should not be there. I mean, look, you know, the 3 Wells boys were taken into custody of the state because of the things that were going on in the home and failed drug tests and things like that. And at the time Summer disappeared, those boys were much older than these kids. You know, what were they? 12, 11 and 9 they were when Summer disappeared. They were much older children, you know, and they were taken into state care, rightly, in my opinion. So these kids, a 3-year-old and a 4-month-old, absolutely defenseless, and witnessing this, you know, these fights that have been caught on the microphones of reporters and blasted to the world now. So if that's being heard from the outside, what's it like in the inside? What has it been like in the inside all this time? You know, is Quinton going missing just the final straw in a long string of issues? So Ziggy said there that she'd seen somewhere that a previous babysitter had reported bruising on Zane. I wasn't going to use his name, but his name's out there. So Zane's the older boy. Stop it. Oh, my word. I'm going to get my legs shredded to bits in a minute. The cat's under my chair, wanting her chair back. Cassie's trying to get under the chair. I'm kind of holding her back. It's insane what I have to put up with. Yeah, but the interview that Crimes, Lies and Lines had, it was a male. It was a young man. So I think there's been quite a lot of people who've been just given Zane to be looked after. So according to the babysitter and previous babysitters, you know, they'd seen bruises on both Zane and Quinton. And something else that the young man said on Crimes, Lies and Lines was that Lelani, if she wanted to chill out or take drugs or just have a quiet night, she would give Zane sleeping drugs. She basically give him sleeping drugs to knock him out. Stop it! It's like having 2 children around my feet. So again, that's just what this young man said. But we've now got testimony. Thank you, Gia61 for the $4.99. Thank you so much. So we've got the young man. We've got something that Ziggy had seen from a previous babysitter, and we've got the current babysitter all saying that Lelani had no interest in her children. She was neglectful. One of them states that she gave Zane sleeping drugs, and I can't remember the name of the drug, but Brooks was like, oh my God, you know, that will knock me out, and I'm 130 pounds. You know, she was astonished. And apparently that's what she was doing. So it begs the question, I'm going to speculation alert, was she giving Zane and Quinton sleeping drugs and Quinton didn't wake up? It's just a thought. NyQuil, thank you so much for the people who've said, I've never taken sleeping drugs, so I don't know the names of them. And generally, our drugs in the UK are the same drugs that you guys get, but they're called something different. Like Tylenol, I think is paracetamol for us. So, yeah, Nycos. There's a lot of people who've seen that. Thank you, Cecile, for the $4.99. He is 3. Zane is 3, apparently. So she's got 3 children under the age of 4. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cali Girl, for the $20 super sticker. Another avocado. Oh, I feel so hungry. Why did the shop not bring my avocados this morning? Dear me. And thank you, Lady of the Wood, for the $10 super sticker. That's very kind of you. That's not come up on there. Oh, yeah, it has. All these avocados popping up. Oh, dear me. Yeah, so these are very, very, very young children. Very young children. Yeah, I know a lot of people give the kids melatonin. I don't think we can get melatonin in the UK, like over the counter. We might be able to. As I said, I've never needed to take sleeping drugs, so I'd never gave my kids any. So, yeah, I mean, Brooks from Crimes, Lies and Lines, she was like, oh my God, that was her word. She just went, oh my God. So you've got to ask the question. You've got to. It's there in the back of my mind that Quinton, that the entire story has been a lie. That the entire story has been a lie. Yes, Irene. Yeah. So Ziggy claims that she'd seen something written from a previous babysitter who said that she'd seen bruises on Zane, who's the older boy. And then the young man who also claimed to have babysat Zane, he was very negative towards Eleni. He had a lot to say, and he was on panel for a long time. So that is a very good, very interesting. He only comes on partway through the live, but he said some things that were very concerning. But it's just what he's saying. Might not be true. We've always got to caveat everything. This is just someone's opinion, someone on the internet. We can't vouch for their authenticity or their credibility, but it's just very concerning. Okay. Scottish lass. Grandson gets melatonin prescribed in the UK because he's got autism and sleep issues. Can't get it over the counter. Okay, that's fair dues. But yeah, it's natural and a much safer way to aid sleep. So this is Crimes, Lies and Lines. I'll get it up just to show you. I watch her a lot, Brooks. I like her. I don't always agree with what she says, but I do like her. She's a straight talker like me, you know. If she doesn't like something, she tells you. So it's this channel here. So here's a good shout out for Brooks here. She does some really interesting stuff. So let's see which it was. She does a lot of, it's that one there. So a former babysitter speaks. And what she put? No foul play, my ass. So it's 2 hours long, so it's not an overly long live. He comes on partway through. So yeah, it's Crimes, Lies and Lines. Crimes, Lines and Lies. Okay, so that's that. All right, so the final thing I want to play for you Grandad was at work, I believe. They said in their interview with the news, just a short clip that I played earlier. I can play that again if you want before we play I'm going to play part of the babysitter's Facebook Live. She did Facebook Live yesterday, I think. So let's just play the grandparents' interview again. It's only like a couple of minutes. Why not? For people coming in, because I think this is very, 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 very telling. Very telling. I'll just let me turn the volume off while the ad's playing. Okay, here we go.
Left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30.
We both left right then. I got here about 3 o'clock yesterday.
And I got here about 3:30 in the morning.
It's been crazy. I mean, we don't know nothing. Whether it's the answers we want to hear or answers we don't want to hear. We just want to know something. My concern is him. And that's all it is. I mean, we concerned with his well-being.
I know everybody worked really hard yesterday, but
and
hard.
And we appreciate everything that everybody has done, all the people that's come out and searched for him and all that. And he's always smiling. He's a happy kid. I mean, you get some kids but he always had a big smile on his face, and he was always happy.
Let me ask you, why are you getting emotional?
Because he's not here. He's just a baby. And I want him home. He's just a baby. Leilani's my daughter. She's 22. She hasn't always done the right things. And sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe, because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. I don't know if I can trust her if I don't. I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby home.
We want answers, and we don't have answers.
Just thank you to everybody that's helped.
Thank you for everybody that's looked for him.
And please don't stop looking.
Yeah. Like I said, we want answers. We want to find him. That's the answer we want, is somebody found him. You know, we're still hoping and praying, and we wish everybody to pray for him. Pray for us.
Yes.
Okay, so that's that. So Grandad got home at 3 p.m. So that was October the 6th. So that's the day after Quinton was reported missing. And Grandad got home at 3 p.m. And then Grandma, Billy Joe, was working out of state. She got home at 3:30 in the morning. So I imagine that their alibis, their whereabouts have been checked, I would imagine. I saw a comment, I can't remember who, while that was playing, I saw a comment. Oh, we're getting palm bombed. Hold on. Block user. There we go. Get lost. Oh, I think Trixie's already got him. Wow. She's so quick. She's quicker than me. Trixie, you're quicker than me. Yeah, about Quinton's biological father. He's been cleared. The police came out straight away and said he was not in the area. He's been cleared. He doesn't live, I don't know where he lives, but he doesn't live in the immediate vicinity. So he wasn't there. So he's not involved. So yeah, right. So the last thing I want to play you, and then I'll let you go, is the babysitter, Diana. Okay, here she is. Oh, if I do this right, I'll be able to see this StreamYard chat while I'm doing this. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm not going to play it all. This was on, she's called Diane Michelle McCarter, if you want to go and check her page on Facebook. And she did this live yesterday. So I just want to play you a few minutes of this.
Sometimes at night. At 5:29.
Oh, hold on. I want to
text me. They made it clear to me that
I'll just play what she said about the day before as well.
Chance, you know, she's a young mother. I've got to be able to try to trust her. She said, I did a lot of bad things. I got my kids taken away, and I want Leilani, I want her to know that she can do anything she wants to do, and I'm going to support her. So I didn't keep them day and night. Leilani made it clear to me that she didn't want me to keep them like her mother had wanted me to. So I kept them during the day.
Okay, so that's good clarification. That the mother, Billy Joe, Leilani's mother, Billy Joe, had her kids taken away at one point when her kids were little. And she wants to give Leilani a chance. But she wanted, while she was away, she wanted Diana to look after the kids day and night. But Leilani wanted to have the kids. So they've been trusting her. Now, I don't know what the court would think about that. I don't know whether that's been agreed with the courts. As I said, I'm not going to pass judgment on the grandma until I know what the courts have agreed with that family. But that's the situation.
Them off at between 5:30 and 6, and they kicked them up. Was supposed to, their schedule was 3:30, but sometimes they worked over and said her boyfriend would say, text me and say, I need to work a couple extra hours to make up hours. So can you keep them until 6? I would do that.
Okay, so that was a regular schedule. So they get picked up when they went to work at about 3:30. But if Daniel needed to work late, it could be as late as 6. All right. And then in the mornings, they were dropped off between 5:30 and 6. So that was the schedule, 5:30 to 6 to Diana's house, and then Daniel would pick them up when he got home. So Leilani does have a job. Now, as she's got a 4-month-old baby, presumably she's not been working for a while, but recently she's been looking after not only Zane and Quinton, but also the little baby girl as well. All right, I'll let it play through now while she tells you her timeline.
We fed them. We took them places. I love them. They're kids. Like, who's not going to love a kid? So that's a little backstory of how I even met them. Okay, now let's get to the day that this happened. I keep them every day, Monday through Friday. I kept them sometimes at night. At 5:29, they text me. No, I'm sorry. Tuesday afternoon, they went home at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I got up in the morning at 5 o'clock on Wednesday because they usually got here around 5:30, 6 o'clock. I get a text at 5:29 saying, the kid from Danny, the kids are not coming. Leilani is with them. I put okay. Was it a little unusual? Yes, because even when she was off, I had them. She didn't know that we could see her. They sit on the front porch, but if me and the kids, and my kids too, but mine are basically grown, would go to leave, she would be on the front porch smoking, but she would duck and run inside so we wouldn't see her. But I had no problem keeping the babies. Was it for money? No, it wasn't. I charged them. I didn't even charge them for Sky. I charged them for the 2 boys, and it was $15 a piece, $30 a day. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So I text Danny, okay. Didn't hear nothing back from him. I got up. My husband went to work around 7:30. We was outside. My son also lives on this road, so he was going to work as well.
I'll just answer a couple of questions before we continue. Thank you for the $9.99, Christina. So babysitter was the last to see him non-family. Yes, as far as we know. Yes. So Quinton had bruises, according to what she told Ziggy. Quinton had bruises on his neck 2 days before, so that would have been the Monday. But he was alive and well on the Tuesday because she had him, you know, just for the day, for the usual schedule. So then Daniel picked him up as normal. Everything was normal. And then she was texted at 5:29 the following morning, Wednesday morning. It'll be an easy date to remember for this case because it's my son's birthday on October the 5th. So it's an easy date for me to remember. So 5:29 on the 5th of October, she got this text from Daniel saying that she wasn't needed that day. So yes, it was unusual, but she didn't think anything of it until 9 a.m, which she'll tell you about in a second. There is another question that I thought was interesting, or a comment rather. Can't find it now. But it's not this, but why did the boyfriend always text not Leleni? I don't know. Don't know. I think it was ICU. There we go. Yes, absolutely ICU. I thought the exact same. You know, if it's truthful that Lelani woke up and Quinton was gone, then how on earth had she managed to sleep with a new baby? Because if Lelani had all the children, so there was also Zane in the house at 3 years old, a new baby at 4 months old, how would she manage to sleep? How was she sleeping in? Because as Diana said there, the babysitter, that when she had her kids, when Diana had her kids, she'd see Lelani out on the porch smoking, you know, chilling out, just wanted the day to herself. And then, you know, the other babysitter, the young man that was on Crimes, Lies and Lies, said that she would be up in the night and then sleep in the day. And other people would be looking after their kids while I think she only had Zane at the time, but other people would be looking after Zane while she was sleeping throughout the day. So, yeah. And then she went on to have 2 more children after Zane. So how on earth? I thought the same, exactly the same. Exactly. Why did Daniel cancel the babysitter? You know, did Lelani tell him the night before that she was going to be a good mom and look after the kids or what? It doesn't make sense, does it? There's more questions than we've got answers here. It doesn't make sense. It is hard to bruise the neck. It is hard to bruise the neck. If it's true, what the babysitter's saying, yeah, I think everybody's babies are up early. I think that's what babies do. And at 4 months old, you know, it's hard for me to remember because my youngest kid's 20 now. You know, 4 months old, are they sleeping throughout the night? They might sleep for a longer period than a brand new baby, but they wake up early for a feed, don't they? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I've heard that he was, but then I've also heard that according to the news, it's just Billy Joe and Tommy, so grandparents, Lelani and Daniel, and then 3 children. But I did hear somewhere that the brother was also there, but I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that for a fact. Exactly. No such thing as sleep with 3 kids under 4. Exactly. If there was plans, Lelani was going to be a good mom and take them out somewhere maybe, which she might have decided to take them out somewhere. Why wouldn't they just text the night before? Because if Daniel was allegedly going to work at 6 a.m, I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, right, we'll play the rest of this. I've lost it now. Where is it? There it is. Oops, don't want that. Where's my... There it is. When you have too many windows open, it becomes a problem. There we go.
8:30. From 7:30 until 8:30, we was outside. We did not see Quinton. Nowhere. Okay. So then me and my girls, we go to McDonald's. They want a McDonald's. I live on Chatham Parkway. The McDonald's is literally right down the road. On our way back, I get a text from Danny. He says, "Have you seen Quinton?" I said, "No, why?" Well, immediately I...
Now, that's a discrepancy. Because on the news, it said that it was Grandma that texted the babysitter. So here, she's saying she got a text from Daniel, saying, "Have you seen Quinton?" So I don't know who texted Diana. Maybe they both did. But the big thing is, it wasn't Lelani, who was the one in charge of the children in the house when Quinton allegedly went missing. So why is she not taking responsibility and texting? Maybe she didn't have a phone. Maybe her phone was broken. Who knows?
And he said they couldn't find Quinton.
Can I start over with the babysitter talking about the first text again? Yes, I can, because I've been interrupting it, haven't I? Yeah, I'll play it from just a sec.
5:30 and 6.
Okay, I'll play it from here. Right, I won't interrupt. I'll just let it play through. All right.
Leilani made it clear to me that she didn't want me to keep them like her mother had wanted me to. So I kept them during the day. They dropped them off at between 5:30 and 6. And they picked them up. Was supposed to, their schedule was 3:30. But sometimes they worked over and said, her boyfriend would text me and say, "I need to work a couple extra hours to make up hours. So can you keep them until 6? I would do that. We fed them. We took them places. I love them. They're kids. Like, who's not going to love a kid? So that's a little backstory of how I even met them. Okay, now let's get to the day that this happened. I keep them every day, Monday through Friday. I kept them sometimes at night. At 5:29, they text me. No, I'm sorry. Tuesday afternoon, they went home at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I got up in the morning at 5 o'clock on Wednesday because they usually got here around 5:30, 6 o'clock. I get a text at 5:29 saying, the kid from Danny, the kids are not coming. Leilani is with them. I put okay. Was it a little unusual? Yes, because even when she was off, I had them. She didn't know that we could see her. They sit on the front porch, but if me and the kids, and my kids too, but mine are basically grown, would go to leave, she would be on the front porch smoking, but she would duck and run inside so we wouldn't see her. But I had no problem keeping the babies. Was it for money? No, it wasn't. I charged them. I didn't even charge them for Sky. I charged them for the 2 boys, and it was $15 a piece, $30 a day. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So I text Danny, okay. Didn't hear nothing back from him. I got up. My husband went to work around 7:30. We was outside. My son also lives on this road, so he was going to work as well around 8:30. From 7:30 until 8:30, we was outside. We did not see Quinton. Nowhere. Okay. So then me and my girls, we go to McDonald's. They want a McDonald's. I live on Chatham Parkway. The McDonald's is literally right down the road. On our way back, I get a text from Danny. He says, "Have you seen Quinton?" I said, "No, why?" Well, immediately I called him. And he said they couldn't find Quinton. Okay. So me and my oldest daughter here with me, we go over there. We get in the car and we go over there. I let my other daughter out. When we get over there, I asked, okay, he's a little boy. He likes to play and seek. He likes to get in my daughter's closet and play. He could be in a closet. He could be in a cabinet. You know, maybe he's playing hide and go seek. Me and my daughter help you look. They didn't want that. He stood there. He looked at me with the most coldest look I've ever seen and said, "We've already looked." I said, okay. So I stood there for a minute. and I looked around outside of where I was. Leilani was smoking a cigarette, and Danny was standing there. And I go to get in my car. I was going to call Billy Joe, and I did call Billy Joe. She didn't call him. Leilani didn't call the police until I said, "Have you called the police?" And then she calls the police. So we started to leave. Cops came behind me. I could not leave. I guess they said what it was on the property had to stay there until after they checked everything. So I left. I came back maybe about 30 minutes later. I asked Leilani and Danny, I said, "Do you want me to take Zane home? So, y'all got a lot going on." She said yes. Danny said yes. I asked them to get me some shoes for the baby. They got me shoes. I came home. I called Billy Joe. Billy Joe had no idea. I've never spoke badly about Billy Joe. But today, she came to my house after I told her, I texted her. She called me at 6:30 this morning. I'm sorry, I'm everywhere because this has been a lie. She called me at 6:30 this morning. We were talking. Everything was good. I texted her. I told her I was going to cook, that we were going to get flyers and put them everywhere of Quinton, and that we was going to do a prayer circle over here. Never said that we was going to do a memorial for Quinton because I didn't believe he was alive or that he had passed. Never did I say that. And I can back all this up because we have cameras. Like, everything I'm saying to you, I can back up. And it's just ridiculous. So she told me basically not to text her no more because she thought that I was overstepping. Well, I am just the babysitter, but I took care of them kids when their mother didn't take care of them. And I don't really have nothing to say bad about Danny because he would actually ask me these last few weeks, "Miss Michelle, did the kids have everything they need? Do they have pull-ups?" Because Leilani wouldn't do that. Now, another thing I want to get to, Billy Joe, after she barged in my house, after all that, she'd come down the road. I don't live far from her. She barged in my house. This is all on camera. I jumped out my chair. She gets in my face, cussing me. I cussed her back. I said some pretty bad words. Yes, I did. Because she barged in my house. Okay, my daughter was also recording. She tried to take the phone from my daughter. She told me that she thought I took her grandbaby. Like, that is the worst thing that you could ever said to me. That is worse than punching me in the face. She did not hit me. I'm not scared of her. She didn't hit me. She just yelled in my face a lot, but I yelled right back, okay? She said that I had stole her grandbaby. How do you do that? Someone that has been good to your grandkids, someone that has 6 kids of her own that are grown, how do you do that to somebody? And then she started screaming all the way down the road for my neighbors to hear. And I don't care because they know me. They know the person I am. And then she started saying that she paid $700 for my kids to go to Splash in the Burris. My kids are grown, okay? She asked me to take Quinton and Zane. Yes, she did buy the tickets. Just like I told the FBI agent, I never used them tickets. Them tickets are still there. The ticket thing is still on my phone. I never took her grandkids. I never took mine. She's never did nothing for me. I literally did not charge them a lot of money to keep these babies because I was worried about these babies. And not only me, there's neighbors up and down this road that has seen these babies outside. And I'm getting a lot of mad faces, and that's okay because I have the truth. Every text that I have sent Billy Joe is on these phones. Every text, every conversation I've had with Billy Joe is recorded in my house. So the FBI can check this. I don't care. I never want to go bash nobody. I am a Christian, but a Christian can stand up for herself, especially when you accuse me of stealing your grandbaby. I would never do that. I don't have anything on my record. I've never had defects at my my house. My kids are grown. My kids have done really good. Like, I'm not, and I have no reason to judge anybody. I mean, I've did stuff in my life. I'm not perfect, but never stuff like that. And I just love these kids. And I didn't steal their body. I didn't do anything wrong. So she can bash me all she wants to, but God don't like ugly. And it's going to come back on her for doing this. 100%.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. It's just a really bad situation that's going on there on this home here. There's some problems. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. There's some problems in this home. And I don't believe that the babysitter stole Quinton. I really don't believe that. I don't believe it. I think that's just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I mean, you know, fair enough, she might be lashing out because she's upset. But clearly, they've all got issues, I think. I think they've all got issues. And it's kind of making Candice Bly look like Mother of the Year, to be honest, to be quite frank. And a clip channel can have that free of charge. It's making Candice Bly look like Mother of the Year. And I've never said that about a case this early on. I've never said anything negative about parents or a home life this early on. This one, though, there's just so many red flags. I've lost count of how many red flags. The fact that, you know, the babysitter, Diana, she calls herself Michelle. That's her middle name, and what a great name that is. Maybe she goes by Michelle. Said that she went to the home as soon as she was told that Quinton was missing. She went to the home and offered to help them search. And they wouldn't let her in. What's that about? What is that about? Why? Why? What are they hiding? What are they hiding? I won't go that far. But I don't know. Yeah. There is that. There is that. We do know that Quinton was alive and well on the afternoon. So she said that they were picked up. Zane and Quinton, the baby girl, was picked up between 4:30 and 5. That would be Tuesday the 4th. So we know that whatever happened after 5 p.m. on the 4th. But at this moment in time, I'm not believing Danny's story that Quinton was there in the playpen when he left. And there's been numerous people in this comment section here in the chat saying, thought he went to work. That's the story that's been told, that he went to work, but he was there. So had he come home from work, had Lelani texted him and said Quinton's missing, and he came home from work, or did he not go to work? Was that initial story that he was at work, was that wrong? Because some of what the news has said has been there's no discrepancies. Like the news very clearly said that the babysitter was texted by Grandma, Billy Joe. But the babysitter herself says it was Danny that texted her to ask, have you seen Quinton? So there's possibly some inaccuracies in those initial reports. There often is. The news will go with just what they've heard, you know, in those first few days. It's difficult to get the story straight. So we don't exactly know where Danny was between 6 and 9, 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. We don't know where Danny was. But the police, they're no longer searching Now, normally a search for a missing child will go on for a week, even 2 weeks, before they scale down that search, that acute phase of the search. I mean, they did 13 days for Summer Wells, 13 straight days for Summer Wells. Kylie Rodney, I think they did nearly 2 weeks before they scaled down that search. And then they move over to like a desk operation. It's like the operational part of it, and they only search on the ground if they've got a tip. And they do targeted searching, or they may go over certain areas again that they're not sure about. But they only did probably 2 days for Quinton. I think because they realised that a 20-month-old, they've had drones out, they've had helicopters, they've had. I know they've searched at least one pond. I don't know how many ponds they've searched, but I know they've done at least one. I don't know which one. They've had the canine teams out, and nothing. And they've had Lilani and Daniel in for many hours, but they let them go. They were back at home on the 7th. So that's the situation. That's as much as we know. Oh, there's the other thing is there's been some search warrants issued. They were allowed in. There was a voluntary search of the home when the canine team went in. I saw there was a news clip of the canine team, a dog actually going into the property. And then they got search warrants because I think they'll probably want to look at computers and phones and things like that. So there have been a number of search warrants issued. But in my opinion, I think the police are very much looking at Lilani and Daniel at this moment in time. So that's it. That's everything. As much as we know for the time being. But the lab apparently did an interview with the babysitter, which I haven't seen yet. So that might be worth checking out. And I think possibly Billy Joe, grandma, is upset that Diana is, or Michelle, or whatever she calls herself, is speaking out. She's been on Ziggy's channel, she's been on the lab, she's been on the news, she's been on her own Facebook, and she's perhaps, she's perhaps fed up of it. So she's angry. Don't know what type of dogs. That's a very good question. That's a question I've got. We don't know what type of dogs. Now, presumably, the first team that went in would have been live scent tracking, because if the story is that he's got out of the house, then we want to track him. So go into the house, somebody goes in the house, collects a scent from something of Quinton's, and then they take the dog out, start at the house, take the dog out to see whether that dog can pick up a scent. Because if he's walked away, as I said earlier, if he walked away, then his scent would be fresh. And that environment, like grass, perfect for holding a scent, flat surface for a dog to work on. And even if Quinton had gone along artificial roads where the scent dissipates quickly, 3-4 hours, wherever, it probably 4 hours by the time a dog team got out there, it would be very fresh. So I know there's more than one team gone in, so I'm hoping that Cadaver Dogs have been around that house. I don't know, though. It's a very good question, one that I would like to know. Thank you, Mary, for the $10. Lilani got an eviction and child support notice the day before the baby goes missing on trash day, and the police is called after trash picked up. That's a good point about trash day. I did mention that in my video that I did on this case the other day, a couple of days ago, that apparently this was trash day, which is concerning. The police have apparently searched a trash dump or somewhere. But I don't know. It's very, very concerning. Very concerning. I would imagine that they've used cadaver dogs, but I would assume that they have, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to tell you that they have and they haven't. Because initially, you know, if Quinton had got out of the house, initially they're looking for a lost child. And it's still, as of last thing I saw today, it's still a missing child's case. And the police at the press conference, police chief said that, you know, they've not highlighted any elements of foul play yet, although everything is still on the table. So they haven't ruled it anything other than a missing child's case at the moment. But I think they'll see all the same red flags that we do, to be honest. It's difficult not to see these red flags. She said the same on the lab as what you played. I thought she said soul, but she said stole, my baby. Yeah, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yeah, I know. I know. When your own mother accuses you, then there's an issue, isn't there? I know. I mean, I don't know what the door's like at the back, but I don't think a 20-month-old will be able to open that door on his own, honestly. But we don't know what the door's like round the back. Can't get round the back. So that's it, guys. I don't believe he was stolen either. I have not left that house yet. There's going to have to be some very convincing talk from Lelanie and Daniel before I will leave that house. Exactly, Buddha. Exactly. Exactly. But she has taken photographs of them, of the bruises, because she sent them to Billy Joe. So as far as I know, the other two children are still at home. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything that the children have been taken away. But they could have been, and we just haven't been told. But I think the news would get that. I think the news would get that very quickly. At 29 months, my son could open doors and windows. I had to screw them down and double lock them. Yeah, kids are very resourceful when they're, you know, when they're an eloper and they want to get away. They're very resourceful. Oh, you said 20 months. Okay, it's, well, possible. I just don't. I'm open-minded. I'm always open-minded about all of these cases. I'm always open-minded. But at this moment in time, there are so many red flags that I can't leave that house yet. I can't. Not yet. It'd have to be, thank you so much, Cecile, for the $9.99 and yet another avocado. I can't yet. I can't. I'm going to have to be... It's going to have to be a very convincing story that's told to make me leave that house at this moment in time. That's where I'm at. I'm just being really honest. So the step... Oh, hold on. Where was that? Step-granddad, so Tommy said he could not open the door. Did he? I've not seen that interview. Did he? If he said that, well, that's very concerning. You know, was the door left open then is the only other thing. And if the door was left open, why did Zane not go out as well? The older child. Where was he? Where was Zane? I mean, where was Zane, the older child, when Quinton allegedly disappeared? And at 3 years old, he's old enough to be interviewed. He's old enough for a specialist forensic psychologist that specialises in child witnesses and child interviewing. He's old enough to be interviewed. I don't know whether they've done it yet, because these people are specialists. They have to be called in. But the FBI is involved, so that will be on the cards. If it's not been done yet, it will be done. That child will have potentially some important information. Big red flags, I know. I can't. That's all I can see as well. And it's out of character for me to say that, but that's all I can see at the moment. So I'm going to call it a day. How long have I been on? Probably a little bit longer than I intended, but that's okay. No, I've not been on 2 hours yet, have I? So that's okay. So it's a manageable length for people to watch who want to watch this on the replay. So thank you so much for listening to me give my opinion. I'm going to be looking at this case very, very closely. Any new updates, then I'll be on it. This case, it's not just because Quinton is so damn cute, but because this is concerning, very concerning. So yeah, thanks for the super chats and super stickers. Thank you so much for the lightning fingered Trixie Star, who keeps this chat very, very clean. Thank you, Trixie. And thank you for my avocado collection. Thank you. Okay, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning over on Michelle After Dark with a video. I don't know what case I'm going to cover tomorrow, but yeah, I'll see you very soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye, guys.